What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome to week 13 of the NCPL. This is a match that's actually happening really late, so I'm sorry about the delay on that. And just a couple things before we hop into this team builder. I do want to preface this by saying this is my first time recording in Japan in my new room, so I don't know what the acoustics are going to be like, but literally there's nothing else I can do at this point, so it's kind of just going to have to work, I guess. So bear with me while I try and do that. If you hear random announcements, people are running for various political positions now, so people will literally drive by in vans and stand on top of them with a megaphone and just shout things at you, so might be loud, might be some interruptions, I don't even really know, but thanks for being patient. Second up is, I'm going to preface this by saying that my Pokemon motivation is at an all-time low. I really hate to say it because I'm usually the person who, looks forward to every battle, looks forward to the team building process, looks forward to, running the calcs and getting into it, but I don't know why, just recently I just haven't been as motivated. I just haven't been looking forward to battles. I haven't been, consumed by the team building process like I usually am. I haven't been super into the calcs, and yeah, I hope it doesn't affect my play too much. It inevitably will, but I do just want to preface that, and if you guys have any tips, if you guys have anything that you think might help me get back into it, I would really appreciate it, especially as the playoffs approach. We've clinched the number 1 seed for the playoffs, which is really neat, but yeah, that being said, let's quickly run through Bobby's team. Bobby's got Mega Zardex, really strong physical sweeper, Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz. If you watch my SFL finals, you know everything I think about Mega Zardex. Xurkitree is pretty cool, typically Scarf Sweeper, but that's really about all I can do in my opinion from having used it myself. Victini, one of Bobby's favorite draft Pokemon, a great draft Pokemon, can run mixed offenses, it can run physical, special, if he creates a monster, it gets momentum with U-turn. Umbreon and Espeon, two incredibly different Pokemon despite, their similar heritage. Umbreon is very defensive, like super defensive, whereas Espeon is relatively more offensive, a lot higher special attack, a lot higher speed, but it gets access to Magic Bounce, which is a pretty cool ability. Machamp, he loves bringing Machamp. I hate dealing with Machamp because of no guard. It has 100% accurate dynamic punches, which is just annoying. Like, that's all it really comes down to. It's just straight up annoying. And the next Pokemon he's got is Drapion. I've used Drapion myself. I actually really like using Drapion. It's surprisingly good. It's got mixed bulk while still being a relatively decent offensive threat. So, yeah, it's a really good knockoff user in my opinion. Next up is Mantine. Mantine is really specially bulky, and it's got access to great recovery and roots. That said, it's really weak. It relies on Toxic to really do damage. It can Scald Burn things, but yeah, it's a Defogger, which is, helpful. He's got a Magic Bounce user, and he's got a Defogger. Next up is Sableye. Sableye is one of the scarier Pokemon on his team, in my opinion, because of that Prankster Recover, Prankster Calm Mind, Prankster Will-O-Wisp, potentially, like Fake Out, Knockoff. He's used it with Trick a lot before, so this is one of the kind of wild cards of his team. Next up is Aggron. Aggron doesn't really put in a lot of work unless it's the Rock Polish set. It can get up Stealth Rock. It's decently bulky, of course, but and it's got a decent attack stat, but it's not going to be doing much, to be honest, because of how many weaknesses it has. Next up is Dusclops. Dusclops is really bulky, typically runs a Wisp, maybe Calm Mind Will-O-Wisp set, Rest Talk or something like that. It's not super scary, to be honest, in my opinion. That said, it of course couldn't put in work because I don't really have a lot of Pokemon that can hit, ghost types in general, so who knows. Next up is Ludicolo. I really like using Ludicolo. It can run a more defensive set. It's a really great offensive mon. It does really well against my team, actually. Offensively, if he runs like a Life Orb Rain Dance set or something like that. So definitely going to want to watch out for that. And then lastly, we got Delibird and Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet does not have Shadow Tag, so it's not scary at all, to be honest. As long as I'm switching out and, if I've got like Scissor with U-Turn or something like that, it's not going to be a problem. Delibird, he's brought Delibird a couple times. I know it typically runs Ice Shard, but outside of that, I don't really know too much about it. So that's his team. Again, I said he loves running Zerk, he loves bringing Zardex, he loves Dragon Dancing whenever he can, he likes the Victini, he likes Umbreon, he likes Machamp, and outside of that, he'll probably bring, one or two maybe other mons. But let's get into my team. This is not the team that, let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna look at week number 13. The first Pokemon I decided to bring was Choice Scarf Garchomp. Basically, as a rule of thumb I have, whenever you have a really threatening Dragon Dance user or Speed user, on the opponent's team, you need one Pokemon that naturally outspeeds it and Scarf it, so that at +1 you can revenge kill it. And Garchomp fits that role super well. When you look at his team, you know, you've got Pokemon like Xurkitree, Victini, Megazord X, all weak to Earthquake. Umbreon, you know, Espeon and Machamp aren't going to want to take Earthquakes either. What else is there? I mean, there's Poison Jab for Ludicolo. There's Earthquake just does so well just in general. And there, outside of Aggron, there's nothing for Outrages either. So Earthquake and Outrage are going to do a ton. Rock Slide hits Mantine, Poison Jab hits Ludicolo, and that's kind of all there is to it. I will say, you know, like I said, my motivation's at an all-time low. I didn't really get into this battle. I was worried more so about my flight than anything else, so I really only spent 45 minutes to an hour building this team. I would normally do a lot more, and I'm sorry, I guess, in advance for not putting in as much as I usually do, but because I hate being that person. I hate being that person, but this is what I managed to come up with. Next up is Thundurus T. We're running Specs Thundurus T because we naturally outspeed a lot of his team. You'll notice he has a lot of base 100s or lower. The only thing above base 100 is Espeon. Yeah, that's it. And it's not even going to be doing too much to most of my mons. So yeah, we're running Thundurus T because, yeah, we can just hit something super hard all the time with Specs. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast is there for Umbreon because it's the only way I don't get Wish Protected on. I was thinking about Superpower. Hidden Power Fighting won't do anything. And Hidden Power Ground is there for Zard and Victini if necessary. Again, Volt Switch kind of runs all over his team because he doesn't have a ground type. So getting a really hard Specs Volt Switch in there over and over, as I you know, can switch this in pretty reliably on Mantine, is going to be doing a lot of damage to his team over time. So that's definitely the plan here. It also makes him think twice by going for a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt with his Xurkitree because I have Volt Absorb, so that's a thing. Next up is Garbodor. We've got a Rocky Helmet Max Defense Garbodor. This is pretty much for Zard and for Machamp. It's got Gunk Shot to do damage, Drain Punch to heal up a little bit if necessary, but really Toxic Spikes and Spikes are the key here. He doesn't have a lot of great hazard removal, and yeah, I mean, Gunk Shot 2-hit KOs Espeon, so it's not really a great switch-in by any means, and if I can get T-Spikes up, or Spikes up, that'll be so helpful with the Victini, the Xurkitree, you know, especially the Sableye, all of his bulkier mons, in particular Machamp. Machamp I don't have a lot to hit with very super effectively, so I'm going to want to whittle away at that as much as I can. Next up is Bronzong. We've got a Leftovers, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, Toxic, Stealth Rock. This is turning out to be my favorite set, no doubt. Defense and Heat Proof means I live +1 Flare Blitz from Charizard X, and I knock it out with Flare Blitz Recoil plus Earthquake. I can Toxic just about anything else. I can also, you know, like I said with Zard X, I can do the same thing with Victini. This is my Rocker, and I believe I Oko Espeon with Gyro Ball, just because of how slow I am, how fast his Espeon is. This is also helpful for Dynamic Punch a little bit, and this is also a great switch into Mantine. I can Toxic it, I can beat it 1v1 because of Toxic, I can get on my Stealth Rock, and yeah. Outside of that, it's helpful for Aggron. Yeah, that's the main idea here. Next up, we've got Suicune. Yes, we are running a Pro-Kun this week. Basically, this set is walled by Mantine, but I have, you know, stuff like Thundurus T, I have Rock Slide, I have Toxic on Bronzong to deal with that, so I'm not too worried about Mantine. And outside of that, this Max Defense Pro-Kun is really helpful for, you know, Victini in particular, for Charizard X in particular too. And at +1, I'm doing a lot of damage to most of the things on his team, and because of pressure, I actually beat Umbreon 1v1, which is really important. I set up on Umbreon, I set up on Espeon, I set up on Mantine itself too, because again, I beat it 1v1 because of pressure, and yeah. After +1, I beat Ludicolo too. I can, you know, sub, protect, and all that stuff. I beat Sableye 1v1 as long as I have a sub up, because I don't want to get Will-O-Wisp or anything like that. But again, I can also beat him 1v1 due to just sub protect. It's a really good set because I beat a lot of his, you know, more offensive threats, and I pressure stall out his defensive ones. So hopefully it doesn't come down to that. But again, Suicune is too good to pass up this week. We're gonna make him shiny because I like shiny Suicune, and I guess I should do the same with Garbodor. and female. Oh, that's right, I need to name all them. And then, okay, for the first time, we've got Armaldo. We're bringing AV Armaldo with X Scissor, Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Knockoff. It's, you know, max SPDF, max HP, and that's just because Xurkitree is a problem. Xurkitree can pose a huge threat on the specialist side. He could be running a special Victini, Espeon as well, and just Armaldo from a typing standpoint and from the offensive attacks available can beat Espeon and Xurkitree and Ludicolo relatively well. So I wanted some sort of special defensive mon, and having Knockoff in general is also really helpful. So AV Armaldo does pretty well. It's got, you know, an adamant nature so that it picks up necessary Okos just barely on stuff like Espeon and Victini and that stuff with Stone Edge or Earthquake if necessary. But yeah, it's naturally got a bit of SPDF and HP, so you know, with AV, with all of the investment, it's looking pretty bulky. And that's the team for this week. I hope you guys are excited for the battle. I hope you guys are ready to cheer me on. I know that it's kind of difficult to cheer someone on who's, you know, evidently not as motivated, but I feel like I'd appreciate it more so now than ever as we get closer to the playoffs. So let's hope things turn out well, and I'll see you guys in the battle. But until then, this has been Night Zero, and this mission is complete.